What's up, everyone? All right, so here we are, Friday, the end of the week. Well, it's kind of a funny week with the holidays. The last couple of weeks have been sort of funny. Next week will be our first full week of trading, 5 days, which is awesome, and hopefully we see a continuation of this momentum. I mean, the market has been hot. We've been seeing, granted the market did gap down today, but then it bounced right back up, and we've been seeing some really great action in the small cap names. And I did it again today, over $8,000 of profit in the first 45 minutes of trading. Not bad at all. So I hope you guys enjoy the recap. As always, questions, comments, leave them below, and stay tuned. Or if you haven't already watched my video on the class I'm gonna host Monday at 7 p.m., make sure you check out that video. It is the capstone of the small account journey, the small account challenge that I did in December. All right, so enjoy that, and I'll see you guys first thing on Monday morning. What's up, everyone? All right, so we're gonna do our midday market recap here and go over the trades from this morning. I'm gonna finish the morning up $8,491.28, which is a pretty great day overall. It could be a little bit better. I'm red on 3 stocks that I traded this morning. I'm in really good shape on 2 of them, but you know, those 2 losses amount to about 2,600, the 3 losses. So I'd be up over 10 grand if I hadn't had those losses. But, you know, again, this is kind of the way it goes with trading. A couple steps forward, a couple steps back. As long as you're net green, that's ultimately what really counts. So let's see. Sava, I'm just kind of looking at now. I didn't end up trading it, but it made this big breakout from 7. Yesterday's high was 728. It broke 7 sort of randomly at 11:55 a.m. and then ripped up to $9.45 is the high. I didn't end up trading it because, you know, I don't usually trade this time of day. And I wasn't sure initially that it was going to hold these levels, and I thought it looked a little more thickly traded. I think I had tried trading it yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, and I lost money on it. So I sat on the sidelines, and this one ended up working really well, but that's fine. So let's look starting at the gap scanner this morning. So our gap scanner, historical date 9:20 a.m. This is what the gap scanner was looking like this morning. Yuma was the leading gapper, and you'll see that I'm up $1,100 on it. Now I'm trading in my main account today. I didn't trade in the small account. I'm gonna basically take my money out, put in the wire request, and bring the balance back down. So I'll start next week with a new small account challenge, and I'll give you guys some more of the details on that early next week. But I'm gonna start the challenge on Tuesday, and I'm gonna host a class on Monday night where I'll talk about basically a capstone class to the $500 to $53,000 December small account challenge, and then kind of lay the outline for the new challenge that's starting on Tuesday in January. Okay, so Yuma, leading gapper, overnight market gaps down. News from out of the Middle East caused some fear in the markets. So market drops down. Oil stocks and energy stocks gap up, and Yuma is an energy stock. So this stock was gapping up this morning. It's a low float, small cap momentum stock that has a history of making big moves. So certainly one that I was interested in. And I ended up taking a total of, I believe it was 3 trades on it. It was definitely 2. Maybe it was just 2. All right, so let's look at the first one. So the very first trade, in fact, all of the trades were in the first 3 minutes of trading. So I'm gonna go down to a 10-second chart to show you what I was looking at. I can't replay, well, I guess I could, but let me just show you here on the chart first. So if we look at this right here, pre-market, it had over 1 million shares of volume. So we had quite a lot of volume on it. We've got this pre-market high of 572. All right, so the bell is about to ring, and it's already come down a little bit. So initially, I was not sure it was going to work out. I was like, it's going red right out of the gates. That's obviously not what we want to see. So let me show you my trades on this one. So I do have the recording of this. So let's see. Oh, actually, looks like I started recording. Oh, that's annoying. Well, I guess that's, sometimes I guess I forget. And let me see if I started. No, that's a bummer. So I didn't even start recording until later in the morning. So anyways, that was after the trade on Yuma and CPST. All right, well, that's fine. So Yuma, this was my entry right here. So it dips down for a second, and then as it surges back up, that's where I jumped in, anticipating the break over $5. Now, it ended up hitting a high of 503, false breakout, and it drops back down. So what I ended up doing on that trade was with, I believe it was 4,000 or maybe 5,000 shares, I made a small profit of like $250 or $300. All right, it pulls back, consolidates, and then right here, I watched on the level 2, it kept tapping its head at 488, and I thought if it breaks over 490 and then rips up 495, $5, we're back through high a day. So I got back in right there for the break of 490, this time with 6,000 shares. It hits a high of 509. I sold on the ask and made about $600 of profit, about 10 cents per share. So then I was up, well, I guess maybe it was a little bit more than that. But it put me up $1,150. So those are my two trades on it right through there. Since then, it's really not been very easy or interesting. It kind of gave a little bit of a second attempt right here, where it squeezed up to a high of 504. It broke this level of 490, tapped 504. I actually did get in. That was my third trade. So I got in right here, but it did not break over the high of this level here. And so I stopped out. I think on that trade, I might have added an extra $100 of profit or something like that. But it was a pretty small win. So that was Yuma. Next trade was CPST. CPST hit the high day momentum scanner. So this scanner right here, it hits the scanner, and I looked at it and I thought, okay, it's moving up quickly, right? This thing is ripping up. So I went ahead and jumped in it at just under $4, looking for the break over 4. It squeezes up and hits a high of 417. I added at 401. It ended up only hitting 417, then pulling back. I sold at 406, a little at 410, and the rest I sold at the bid. And as you can see, this did not end up being a really nice trade. I got back in right here on this 1 minute pullback. This was a false breakout. It hit a high of 414 and then flushed back down. And on that trade, I lost some money and I'm finishing down $948 on CPST. So a little disappointing there, but you know, that is what it is. So at that point, I was up only about $100 on the day. I was up on Yuma and I was down on CPST, and maybe I was up $200 on the day. So up 200, you know, that's not the greatest place to sit. And it was about then that BTAI started to pop up. So BTAI is a stock that I have traded before. It's got a history of making some big moves. It's a somewhat recent IPO, all-time highs 1473. And you can see that it made a big move a couple days ago, pulled back, and then this morning, all of a sudden, it starts ripping. This thing goes, it pops up to 1475, which is a double top versus basically the all-time highs. It pulls back, and right here, it breaks beautifully this little flag and squeezes up to a high of 1705. I actually bought this really pretty high, and I'll tell you that I got in and let me show you the 10-second chart on this so you can see the micro pullback. As soon as I was in, see, the problem is it squeezed up to a high right here of, let's see, this was 1668. And I was like, wow, okay, this thing is strong. This thing is moving really fast. So I took a breath and I was like, I'm gonna wait for a pullback. It drops down to 1610. And then on this candle, it pops up, and I said, you know what, I'm jumping in. I bought right here for the break over high a day, and I added at 17, and then it was halted. And at that moment, I was like, all of a sudden, my heart kind of started pounding because I was like, you know what, I'm only up like 10 cents going into a halt. And if you recall, you know, we had a couple of trades this week that were halted for a really long time, or that when they halted going down, they gapped way lower. And so all of a sudden I was like, oh man, this might have been a mistake, but let's see how it opens. So what I ended up doing is I put an order for 2,000 shares to add at $18, thinking that if it opened at $17.50, opens a little, usually gap up, open higher. So if it opens a little higher, I'll maybe wait for it to dip for a second and then buy. It ends up opening higher. I added 2,000 shares at 18. So now I'm scaling up and it rips up to 1888, up to 1939, and I start taking profit over 19. I take some profit off the table. It then does a pullback. I hold through the pullback and it actually comes all the way back down to fill the gap before the halt at 1705. It fills the gap, and then as it starts to curl back up right here, I got back in for the break over 18. And I'm trying to remember where this was. It was right around here that I got back in, and I had to hold it for a little while. Breaks 18, hits 1825, pulls back, pops up to 1850, pulls back, I'm still holding it, and then I added 1850 for a test, back up through high a day. It hits 1939 here, pulls back, surges up to $19.89. I actually didn't sell anything on that break right there. It kind of happened really fast. I sold the rest of it right here as it started to break down. And just like that, out of nowhere, I went from up 200 on the day to up over 10,000. And then I took trade 4 and 5 on BASI and AKER. BASI, another stock that hit the scanners, high day momentum scanner here. You can see BTAI on scan. BASI hitting the scanners here. You know, I'm disappointed that I kind of got trapped on this. It's sort of a bull trap. It looked over 550 like maybe this thing was going to open up a little bit. And I was looking at this in terms of the daily chart, and I was like, over 550 is a daily breakout. So I'm going to jump in. I jumped in at 550. It pops up to 576, and I'm like, okay, this looks good. And then it flushes here back down to 520. I stopped out. I took the loss, down $1,400, almost $1,500. And then I took one more trade on AKER, which made for a second consecutive loss. And this is a little disappointing because it's actually doing kind of what I thought it would. Gap fill. So this has a gap on the daily chart from 352 all the way up to 548. As it hit the scanner, I jumped in at 550. I was like, all right, this thing looks good. It hits a high of 559. And then it flushes and drops all the way down to 359, and then drops to 332 before, as you can see, consolidating, coming all the way back up to the highs. So I stopped out of that one, and at that point I was like, you know what? I'm done. BASI, no good. AKER, no good. I'm not going to push my luck. I've already given back, you know, $1,700. Granted, it doesn't break one of my rules. I didn't have 3 red trades in a row. I didn't give back more than half of my gains, but I gave back a little more than I would have liked. And so I said, I'm going to throw in the towel here. In fact, had I kept trading, Sava, you know, would have been one that maybe I could have made some money on. And I'm a little disappointed, but you know, it is what it is. So again, while I'm trading, I'm really not actively looking at the 1-minute chart for myself. I only even started putting up the 10-second chart within the last few months for the benefit of helping articulate what I saw and why I got in where I got in. Because when I'm actually trading, I'm staring at the level 2. I'm not looking at the 10-second chart. I'm staring at the level 2. And I can visualize when it taps a level and pulls back, that as it curls back up, that's the place I want to get in. So anyways, a nice day today. I'm going to have a YouTube video coming up. If it's not already posted, it'll be up soon. That'll give you guys a link to register for the capstone class that is going to happen on Monday evening. All right, so 7 p.m. Monday evening, I'll host a workshop where I'm going to break down for you the December small account challenge, which ended up being pretty insane. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that, and I'll see you all first thing on Monday. All right, bye everyone. Hey, it's me again. The most popular video on day trading on YouTube was made by me. You can check it out below if you haven't already. And as always, if you have questions, leave them in the comments. I personally respond to every question that's posted on my channel.